Hello everybody. In this video, I'm just going to explain how to build multi-currency report. Before getting started, I would like to give you a little bit info about the source file, which can be found in Excel. So our source file is in Excel file, and this Excel file workbook is including several worksheets. So these stores, the products, the customers are our dimensional worksheets. F sales, F purchasing, and F expenses are our factual tables. And also we have the currency half H and the currency F full worksheets. So the currency half means that there are Mm, some missing dates that are for weekends and also holidays. And here also can be found uh, currency rates, euro to US dollars. For example, currency rates for 2nd and 3rd of January's in this list are missing, right? But in the currency F full worksheet, you can find all the date for a specific period of time with all the ratios. Currency ratios, right? So euro to US dollars. Okay, now let's go on with our with our Power BI file. Let's add one more page and let's call it multi-currency. And let's imagine that our manager is interested in a sales report where he will be able to see sales of the company both in euro and US dollars interactively. So let's build this kind of report in Power BI. So to do it, first of all, I'm just going to add one measure group for the measures that I'm going to use in this building process. So I say home, enter data, and I'm going to call this one just multi-currency multi-currency measures and say load. And also I'm going to use this option one more and let's load. Let's wait for loading time. It's now loaded. It's okay. And let me enter data once again. And this time I'm going to build supporting table so called currency tag and header is going to be currency and here it will be euro and here it will be US dollars and say load. This is our supporting table, can be found here, currency tag. And the next step is adding slicer. I'm going to add slicer and I'm going to add extract or drag this currency from currency tag table here. And I'm just going to do some changes in format. So slicer header off, slicer settings. It is going to be tile and selection will be single selection. So it's going to be like this. And I'm clicking on any part of canvas and say table. And I'm going to add one table where we will have some measures from key measures group. This is total sales. By the way, our sales is given in euros. And here we have sales dollars measure. If you pay attention, this is our sales amount in euros. And reusing related function, this part of this measure is extracting euro to US dollars ratios, thanking this relationship. If you pay attention, here we have the currency F, and if you pay attention with F sales factual table, and thanking this relation and this measure group, we get sales in dollars. So let's add also this one. So We can actually make it a little bit bigger. So save format, values, let's make it 14, and column headers, let's make it 15, bold, and totals, and let me make it 16, bold. That's okay. Now we have just tables, right? And we have slicer. The next step is building relationship with these two objects, right? So to do it, I have to write one just measure, so-called multi-currency report measure. So I'm selecting this multi-currency measure group and three ellipses, new measure, and let's call it multi-currency report. Multi-currency report, and here I'm just going to use selected value function, DAX function, say selected value, currency take and currency, closing parentheses, enter. And I can delete this one from the model. Now multi-currency measure group is going to be located based on the top of my data pane. So I'm going to add this one here. Just pay attention, euro, right? When I select these US dollars, it's going to show me US dollars. Euro, it's going to show me euro. So the next step must be related to changing this textual value with sales amount. So before doing it, what should we do? Uh, let's go back to our model, right? Here we have full dates, right? So we are interested in, let's say that we have, as I show in Excel file, we have this one, the currency half, where uh, more dates are missing. So now, if we go back to Power BI desktop file, so and we should imagine that instead of the currency F, we will have the currency H, right? So let's delete this relationship after selection. We deleted this relationship. If we go back to here, canvas, there is no data to show, to display. Why? Because if you pay attention using relate function, we were getting data from the currency F. Now it's time to go our Power Query editor. And here, uh, first of all, we should refresh the path of our source file. Let's go to data source settings. Here we say change source and browse, and let's select sales dataset, say open. Now the path to source file is refreshed, and now if we pay attention here, we have the currency F file, right? And the currency H is not shown there. So I'm right click, making right click and say enable load, right? And say close and apply. And I'm going back to my modeling part of a report. So it's now applying changes, and I'm going back here. Here I have this table. I forgot about this. Let's make it a little bit narrower. If I click on this, I can see this table. Let me make it a little bit bigger, right? And here I'm just going to relate these two tables, date with date, right? So if I go back here and if I make some changes, for example, if I say related the currency H euro to US dollars fact, closing parentheses, enter, now data will be gone, right? Euro, USD, And actually, let's go back once again to our sales. This is the currency here. Something is wrong. Why? Because sales in dollars is not shown. Let's go back here. This is date. Let me click on this. Um, okay. Just we have to have this is date, right? And here we have to have this one, right? Date minute one single. I think it will be working now. Yes, it's now working. So we see our sales in US dollars also. But if you pay attention, actually, in fact, sales amount in US dollars must be bigger than this amount in euro. Why? Because euro is much more valuable in comparison with US dollars, right? But taking it into consideration that not all the dates with ratios are included in the currency H Excel file in our source file, so this amount is normal for now. Okay, so now I can remove these total sales and sales in dollars from this table. Let's remove them. And I'm going to make some changes in this formula, I mean DAX formula, to see, instead of this textual value, to see just our sales amount. So we can do it. So let's say Shift Enter and let's use switch function and switch selected value. I'm saying selected value, okay. And after selected value, I just let me, yeah, currency take currency. Let me write once again from beginning. I'm saying selected value, and here for column name, I'm going to use currency from currency tag and closing parentheses, uh, say comma. My value is going to be euro between double quotes. And if it's euro, it's going to be total sales, which shows me the sales amount in euros. And comma, once again, between double quotes, I'm writing US dollars, closing between, I mean, closing quotes, double quotes. And here I'm going to use sales in dollar measure, right? So I'm closing parentheses and enter. Now, let me hide it. If I select the euro, it shows me my sales amount in euro. When I select it in US dollars, it shows me in US dollars. Now, for now, this amount is not correct, but we will work on it. Now, I have to cover the sales for missing dates. So, how to do it? Once again, I'm going back to my model, right? And I'm going to delete this relationship. If I go back to canvas, there is no data. It's very normal because the relationship is broken. Now there are several ways to fulfill all the dates with the necessary relevant ratios, euro to US dollar. One of them is just relating a calendar table with the currency H table, day to day, right? This is okay. And the next step is going back to table view. And here I'm clicking on calendar and I will add one calculated column, which will be called like USD, the USD rate, right? Here's the rate equals shift enter. So just to understand and for future use, I'm extracting the available ratios from the currency age table. So to do it, I say related function and the currency euro USD fact column. Enter. Okay. Now I can make it more visible. So if you pay attention, we have all the date, but as we don't have ratios in the currency age table, so these cells are missing info, right? So we have to fill these cells with ratios. Actually, it's something like a VLOOKUP function in Excel. For example, while we are using a VLOOKUP function and we if we select true, true will give us the latest available value, right? For example, if we are here, uh, for example, for this, say, ratio for this date will be the nearest one, this one, if we select true. So it is something like this, but here we will be using DAX function to get this, say, to get this amount, I mean, values. So I'm going to add one more column and I say, I call this column like USD rate alignment and equal. Here, first of all, I'm just going to extract the dates and then I will extract these USD rates. So I say var variables and I'm going to call this one, say, this variable like previous day fulfillment fulfillment and I say equal and I'm going to use here calculate function. So I will use calculate function. Let's say calculate and for expression I'm going to extract the maximum available date. So it means that maximum calendar and calendar date for expression. For filter, I'm going to use filter function and for table, I say calendar. Calendar is my table. For filter expression, I'm going to use, I say calendar date. So date column from calendar table, it must be less than or equal to calendar date. But here we can use earlier function and we say calendar date and closing parentheses, right? And also we have say we have one more condition. It means that these values must be greater than 0. So let's say ampersand ampersand and calendar use rate must be 0. Closing parentheses. We have to be sure that we have used the necessary number of um, parentheses and here we say return and previous day fulfillment variables. Let's check. I hope we have written our max text measure correctly. So let's change it to date, which is okay, great. And here I'm just going to change it to this format, which is perfect. If you pay attention here, for example, for the missing cells, we have the previous maximum, the say the nearest date, which is this one, 1st of January 2016. So The next step is changing these date values with this one, the USD rates. So, so we can do it. We just say we delete previous day fulfillment variables here, and we are going to use once again calculate function. And for the expression, we say just we can use average, maximum, minimum function for getting these USD rates. As there are missing values, so it doesn't mean which function you use. So let's go on with average, and we say USD rate, closing parentheses, and after this we say comma and filter. And for table, we are going to use a calendar table. And for filter expression, we are going to say that this calendar date for each row, calendar date, must be equal to this variable, previous day fulfillment, right? And if we closing parentheses and say enter, here we get the necessary values, which is perfect, amazing, great. So now time is going back to canvas, and what can we do? Once again, we see that this number is not correct. So we go to sales, US dollars measure. Here I have to change the path. I say related calendar used rate alignment and closing parentheses. One more, enter. I hope this number will be changed. If I select euro, it works, it shows me euro, sales amount in euro. When I select US dollars, it shows me sales amount in US dollars. Now, the next step is just building or playing with some visuals. So let me select, say, stacked column chart, or actually not stacked. We can go on with cluster column chart. So here I'm adding my, say, uh, year from calendar. I say year, okay, and I have to change the place for this one. So it's not sum of here, it's going to be in x axis. And actually, for example, I can add my total sales and also my sales in US dollars. But let's leave it here and let me, yeah, make a copy, right? I'm going to make a copy. And here I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to with my multi-currency report. Multi-currency report. Yes, and if I say euro, it will change. Now, let me add my values. So I can say date, just labels. You see, for example, for 2016, my sales amount in euro, it's roughly 38 million, right? USD dollars is 44 million of dollars, right? So I can just delete this one, say remove. And here, thus, we build a visual report where we can say see our sales just in different currencies. So this was all about building sales reports in just multi-currency multi-currencies. Thank you.